NICOLA Sturgeon and SNP chiefs were last night accused of acting like gangsters amid a furious row over a no-comment cop interview. Rivals blasted the former First Minister after we revealed she had hindered officers probing her and embezzler husband Peter Murrell, despite publicly vowing to cooperate fully. Scottish Tory leader Russell Findlay slammed the Nats leader John Swinney for refusing to criticise her.
And here we are just 24 hours after Nicola Sturgeon's husband, Peter Murrell, admitted using over £400,000 of stolen money to fund their lavish lifestyle. Presiding Officer, in 2021, John Swinney went onto the BBC and publicly dismissed valid concerns about the SNP's finances. Nicola Sturgeon also told those with concerns to stay quiet. And when questioned by police, she repeatedly said, "No comment." The tactics of organised crime.
And today the First Minister rejected calls for an independent inquiry into the embezzlement of SNP finances.
I don't think there's a need for a Holyrood inquiry, but it's up to Holyrood committees to decide what they want to do. There has been a police investigation. There can be nothing more detailed than a police investigation. And the police investigation has led to a criminal case which has found there was criminality involved. And there's been a prosecution, and there's been a guilty plea, and there will be sentencing taking place as a consequence. So all of these issues have been looked at. We know what the problem was. The problem was criminal behaviour, and the police have identified that, and the individual involved has been prosecuted. So that is, you cannot get any inquiry more detailed than a police inquiry. And I think we should all respect the fact that there has been a detailed inquiry into all of these issues.
It comes as John Swinney was accused of taking the pee as he ducked questions on Nicola Sturgeon, giving cops the silent treatment before he said no comment.
What do you think that a no-comment interview is fully incorporating the police?
I've got no comment to offer about police investigations.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks so much.
Ms Sturgeon repeatedly told the public she would cooperate fully with the Operation Branchform fraud probe into party finances, but we revealed yesterday how she repeatedly answered no comment during her police interview. Scottish Tory leader Russell Findlay had earlier told SNPs a refusal to answer questions were the tactics of organised criminals. The former crime journalist added last night, Swinney and the SNP need to ditch their pound shop gangster routine and focus on Scots' real priorities. The Nats leader's non-answer was also mocked by rivals. Former Scottish Tory chief Ruth Davidson said, "They are just taking the pee now, aren't they?" Ex-Nats MP Joanna Kerry KC, who was a fierce internal critic of Murrell and Ms Sturgeon's leadership, added, "Is this a joke?" The ex-First Minister pledged on April the 8th, 2023 to help police looking into the SNP's depleted coffers.
As has been the case, there will continue to be full cooperation. The last few days have been obviously difficult, quite traumatic at times, but I understand that is part of a process. I also understand, and I've always accepted, the scrutiny that comes on me as a public figure, and never shied away from that, hence standing here talking to you just now. But I'm also entitled to a little bit of privacy in my own home.
On June the 11th that year, she spent more than 7 hours at Falkirk Police Station, where she gave a no-comment interview. Afterwards, a spokeswoman for her told the media, Nicola's consistently said she would cooperate with the investigation if asked, and continues to do so. Last night, Ms Sturgeon's lawyer, Amar Anwar, said her no-comment answers were standard legal advice. He said Ms Sturgeon later insisted on providing a detailed written response to police questions. Mr Anwar added the idea that a highly resourced inquiry was hampered by a no-comment interview is nonsensical. Had there been any evidence whatsoever of criminality against Ms Sturgeon, there can be no doubt that this gold-plated investigation would have led to Ms Sturgeon being charged and prosecuted. Meanwhile, pressure was also piled on Mr Swinney and senior SNP figures over attacks on party whistleblowers who raised concerns in 2021 about the fate of £482,000 in IndyRef 2 campaign cash.
But are people like her owed an apology?
Well, I'm simply saying that these issues have been dealt with in the course of a police investigation in which there was criminal conduct, and that has been addressed by the plea that was made yesterday, and obviously there's more to come.
A leaked video of a meeting of Nats bosses showed Ms Sturgeon blasting internal critics. Questions were also asked yesterday of Scotland's New Victims Minister Kirsten Oswald MSP, a former MP and party chairman, for her role in the scandal. In 2021, she also slammed fellow Nats for asking questions about party funds. Concerns had first been raised a year earlier when accounts showed the party had less than £482,000 in cash and reserves. Months later, Ms Sturgeon lashed out at Executive Committee members in a meeting sparked by the resignations of 3 colleagues on the SNP's Finance and Audit Committee. Frank Ross, Alison Graham and Cynthia Guthrie all quit amid claims Murrell had refused the request to see the Nats' full accounts. An angry Ms Sturgeon was filmed saying, "Just be very careful about suggestions that there are problems with the party's finances because we depend on donors to donate. There's no reasons for people to be concerned. All of us need to be careful about not suggesting that there is." On the 29th of May 2021, Party Treasurer Douglas Chapman MP also quit, claiming he was not given access to the SNP's financial records, so he was unable to do his job. But Ms Oswald then dismissed concerns, insisting SNP National Treasurers have access to detailed financial information and report to the National Executive Committee on a monthly basis. The NEC can request any additional information it requires. An SNP source said last night Oswald shut down the debate. MSPs were discouraged from asking about the issue in the last Parliament. Why has she been rewarded a government role in justice? Yesterday, Miss Oswald defended her involvement and denied she was a lackey for Murrell. "I don't think I'm known as somebody who shuts down debate." A month before, cops launched their Operation Branchform probe. Miss Sturgeon sought to close down questions again. She told STV on the 3rd of June 2021, "Money hasn't gone missing."
No, I'm not concerned about the party's finances. The finances of the SNP are independently audited. Our accounts are sent to the Electoral Commission in common with other parties and of course published, so there's full scrutiny around that. Money hasn't gone missing. All money goes through the SNP accounts, independently and fully audited. We don't hold separate accounts. We're under no legal requirement to do that. Our accounts are managed on a cash flow basis, but every penny we raise to support the campaign for independence will be spent on the campaign for independence.
2 days earlier, Mr Swinney, then Deputy First Minister, had told the BBC he had no knowledge of any police interest. Scottish Labour Deputy Leader Jackie Baillie yesterday slammed Mr Swinney's bid to distance himself from the scandal. She said, "When people were sounding the alarm about the state of the SNP's books, NICOLA Sturgeon and John Swinney insisted there was nothing to see." But the First Minister hit back. "Jackie Baillie spent the best part of 5 years questioning my integrity and my truthfulness. I invite her to look at the election results and see how far it got the behaviour of the Labour Party." On Monday, Peter Murrell pled guilty to embezzling more than £400,000 from the SNP over more than a decade. He was remanded in custody until sentencing next month.